Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
All right, Luca Nation, should we kick it off here, Cage?
Hell yeah,
Shaking
hell
your
yeah.
phone.
Oh yeah.
The caffeine hit.
I bought some Coke Zero. I got some Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm wired, man. I'm amped to go. We got some cool sporting events coming up. There's 2 Monday Night Football games on tonight. Luca Nation, we got our listener count this morning, and I need to say a huge thank you to you guys. And I guess I got a big thank you to Chris from House of Jordans. I mean, you want to talk about, what do they used to say on the top 40? There used to be this chart called the top 40 chart, when people used to play records, guys, those are things made of vinyl. Used to have 45 RPM and 33. Anyway, I used to go on the radio and they'd count the spins on the radio, not the spins just that were downloaded on your phone. And they used to say number 1 with a bullet. So it's not number 1 yet in our listening library, but the episode that we dropped with Chris from House of Jordans talking about card ladder and that kind of stuff. I mean, it really has been a meteoric, climb for that one over the last couple of days. It really is an impressive thing to see how you guys have taken to that episode. And if you haven't listened to it yet, please do. I mean, there's some really great stuff in there. Chris was a great guest. And, we've noticed also, I mean, those guest episodes are really the ones that people flock to. So, we're going to continue to, to do what we can to bring you guys informative guests. We gave you a
go to Tower Records. I used to go to Tower
exactly.
Records.
Right,
and
Sam Goody.
I bought Big Willie Style. Was my first album I bought there. Will Smith, Big Willie Style.
That's ironic.
Sick album, by the way. It's a really good album.
It's an ironic purchase for you.
Why is that?
Well, I don't think of Big Willie when I think of you. So in any event, here's the deal, right? It's
what a shot! What a shot!
It's so hey guys, and how about the Gem and Studio partnership? We're getting a lot of great feedback on that, and some of you guys have already bought it, which is amazing. After posting it for less than 24 hours, I do think that's a great product. So I do recommend anybody buying it. And if anybody has questions about it, please feel free to DM us on the Lucas Tigers and Bronze Oh My podcast account. I'll answer any questions you have. And we're going to bring some more stuff like that to you. We really are. There's a lot of great, resources out there in the hobby for you guys. And, we use a lot of them. We try a lot of those. And, we want to be able to, we talk about the value that we bring. That's Andrew's big mantra, right? He's got a bunch of them, but the one that I really buy into is, I tell him all the time, I say, hey, what are we doing today? What kind of, and you're like, he answers me the same way every time. And it's like, I just need to bring value to our listeners. That's, if I do that, then we've accomplished our goal for the day. And, that's not always just the picks and the picks coming in, although we've done pretty good for you on those. He wants to make your hobby experience, your buying experience, your selling experience, a better one, and bring value to you guys with this. So, we're going to bring you more stuff like that, Gem Men Studios. And in addition, we want you guys to tell us what you're looking for, because that's how we're going to be able to kind of focus in on, who to talk to next. So, all right, Andrew, what do you got?
They say the best day in your life is when you're born, and the second best day in your life is when you figure out why. Well, the reason what I figured out is I love helping people, and I love creating freedom in people's lives. And I love serving people. So it's back to that point. I want to bring value to people. I want to help them. I want to help them create a second stream of income that allows them to have the freedom in their lives that they've always wanted. And whether that's they buy their wife a nice new car with it, they take their family on a vacation, they leave the job that they don't love and do something else. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here, and I love doing it. I did a really cool exercise. I'm feeling super meta today, Luca Nation. I did a really cool exercise this morning. I woke up early, and I went all the way back to 2010, and I looked through old emails to see how far I've come, as a businessman, as a friend, as a business partner. And you know what? Today's motto is being proud of yourself. Is taking time, carving out time in your day to be proud of how far you've come. Because oftentimes we sit here and we think about what purchases we want to buy for the future, the money we want to make for the future, but we don't take time to give ourselves the credit that we deserve for how hard we work to get to this point, and we should take a moment to be proud of ourselves. So with that, do you want me to jump right into my pick? Because I do like my pick a lot as well.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I just want to say one thing while you get, your meditation and your yoga on and you flatten your mat out. And I like to say you light your incense and stuff, man. So we're living the hobby with you guys. I can tell you myself today, I went to FedEx and mailed out some cards that I sold. Our friend, the Wharf Sports Cards, I sent out a consignment to him for his consignment so he can sell some stuff. I listed some stuff on eBay myself using the Gem Mint photo studios. And I took a package to the post office it was a PSA bulk sub ultra modern. I can't believe that $12 now. Even with 100 cards, it's $12. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is, we're doing what you're doing. So, please check in with us and let us know if there's anything that you want to ask.
That's my bigger point. But
yeah,
that is my bigger point. If you think about it, as we're in this hobby with you guys, we also have subs out. We have one sub that's in grading. One sub's QA2. One sub it hasn't.
I have one in
logged.
QA2. I have one in QA2 for a couple of days. I refresh it like every 5 minutes.
We have cards that we're selling that we're waiting to get paid on. We have dream cards that we're pursuing, and it's easy to get caught up in the rat race of always wanting that next goalpost, that next win. And what I urge myself, these are lessons I'm teaching myself. As I go after and I chase that next big win, like right now, I really want to buy this LeBron Topps Chrome that I found. But as I'm doing that, I want to be grateful and appreciative of where I'm at today and how far I've come. I think that is important, Cage, because it's nonstop, right? It's never ending. We're going to keep sending subs in. We're going to keep selling cards on eBay. We're going to keep sending cards to Wharf and auction them off and hoping that the auction goes higher. All of those things are real, but I think it's also vitally important to embrace and be grateful for the moment that we're at now.
I like it. I'm grateful.
What do you think of Mosaic? What do you think of the Mosaic release of this year? And what do you think of two questions? Last year's Mosaic when it was an insert.
So here's the thing, right? So if it's your pick, I'll apologize for my take. But this is what you get, Luca Nation. This is what you get. You get, a fresh perspective from us. We don't talk about our picks ahead of time. Right now, I could give Andrew, I'll give him $1 million if you pick what my pick is right now. He could not get it. There's no way he would guess what my pick is. So we don't do this ahead of time. And that gives you kind of like live and true feedback, right? So Mosaic. Here's my concern about Mosaic. I didn't mind it when it was part of the Prism product. When it was, like Fast Break, or, you had the disco, you had the Mosaic, you had all the fun stuff that were in there. It was part of the product. So splitting Mosaic off into its own release, one of a dozen releases that are going to come out this year, it's, in my opinion, dangerous. All right. And I've seen articles, I've seen people write things, I've seen, commentary of, do you think XYZ product can possibly take over Prism as the lead product? I've seen people say it about Optic. Hey, Optic's the number 2 product, but it's so nice and it's so great. I think Optic's going to overtake Prism. But it doesn't, because Prism has a long-standing tenure. We're just looking at basketball now, right? All right. You want to buy a Giannis rookie card. You want to be a collector of PSA 10 rookie cards. You want to buy a Giannis. You want to buy a Klay Thompson, or you want to buy a Lillard, or you want to buy Anthony Davis or Kawhi. Your collection does not have Mosaic cards in it. It has Prism cards, right? You want to buy a standalone Luka even. You want to buy a Tatum. You can have an Optic card, sure, but collectors, people who buy these things and hold them in collections, they're creatures of habit. And I can tell you just my own self, right, that I like PSA slabs because I like uniformity. I don't like the BGS ones. I don't love the SGC ones. I mean, they all have their own positives, but I like my collection to look, it's a little OCD of me, right? I like my collection to have PSAs. I like PSA 10s. I want to save one of each of the rookies that I want to collect and put them in a nice little row, and they stack up nice and easy, right? So Mosaic is a little late to the game with basketball last year, and you had football that just was released this year. So here's my – I love the product for opening, and if it was a decent price, my son loved it when it came out. He's like, let's buy some Mosaic. But now it's $50 for a fat pack of basketball. It's absurd, right? You can't break it anymore. If I could find it in the wild in a Target or a Walmart, it would be a fun break. But here's the deal. With the prices that they're at now, especially in football, where it looks like a stained glass is coming in every third card's a stained glass now from what I see posted on Insta. Here's my issue with it. Eventually, and I'm not saying it's going to happen this year or even next year, eventually there's going to be the one card that people are going to want of a player. right? There's going to be that one sought after top rookie, right? And if you look back, LeBron has the Bowman card. He's got the Fleer card. He's got the top regular card. He's got all these cards, but the one card everybody wants is that Topps Chrome card, right? To me, that's the Prism card, right? That to me is right now. Now, could that change? Sure. Do I think it's going to change? Absolutely not. And I think, and I'm not saying we're heading towards a quote junk wax era or anything like that, right? I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm seeing a lot of the same tendencies that I saw in the late 80s and early 90s, where everything was going good. So all of these companies that were producing cards just kept producing, and it went from saturated to super saturated. And I see a product like Mosaic in that exact ilk, right? It's something we don't necessarily need. I mean, I know it's blasphemy to say that for breakers, right? Because look at the release point of Mosaic football. It was perfect, right? It came out right when football was starting. I mean, everybody wants to break a football product. It's got, Burrow and Tua in their NFL jerseys. But here's the concern I have, right? Those prices, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near what they're at now when the actual Prism release comes out or any other release comes out. I think, and that is going to be difficult for sustaining prices, for sustaining sales prices on them, you name it. And that's just for right now within the season. For going forward, for long-term hold, for you talk about next year, right? Let's just say you want to start collecting Burrow or Tua, one of the rookies from this year. Mm-hmm. Are you really going to invest in the Mosaic card as the one to hold when a regular Prism base is going to come out and that's probably going to be the one that people are chasing? I doubt it.
And you're most likely gonna liquidate your winnings on the Mosaic to buy the Prism. So before our Zoom today, I was looking at options, and I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do and give 2 picks.
Whoa!
Give options to people, and I brought you I'm most proud of my Derek Carr play. That could not. Oh, look at little Ian in the background. He's the cutest. Oh, look at him sneaking out, being all shy and everything. You guys should see this little kid. He's 7 years old, looks like a grown-ass man already. Big dude. They big genes in this family. You have me muted, Cage?
We're muted. We're muted. Sorry about that. So
the Broncos are going to win with Jerry Jeudy.
Judy's going to have a good game tonight?
Yeah.
Who are they going to beat?
The Titans.
Who else is playing tonight?
And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win against the Giants.
Do you think the Steelers are going to win? Who's going to have a good game? Who's their receiver?
I know he's a rookie last year.
Yeah.
And we have his hollow of him.
We do have his hollow. Deontay
Johnson.
How about the Giants? They got a wide receiver who might have a good game tonight.
I don't know.
Darius
Slayton.
Darius Garland. Funny. That's from Cleveland. That's from the Cavaliers. Thanks, bud. We'll play football in a minute.
A little celeb appearance there.
So anyway, he's saying, if you want to parlay, he's saying parlay the Steelers and the Broncos tonight. There you go.
I love the Broncos tonight. I love letdown games. The Titans, I think, overachieved a lot last year, and I could see this being a letdown game. But let's move forward. So I brought you the Derek Carr play. That was a $60 play just on the 9th of September. Did you see how many sales were on eBay just yesterday? Insane amount of sales, and they're right around the $80 mark. So that's already
they won. That was an upset win. That was an upset win yesterday. I mean that. So I don't want to cut you off, but you haven't gotten to your plays yet. What we're seeing now is an amazing phenomenon, and I'm glad we have so many people listening to us because I mean I'm going to toot your horn here because this is all your idea. You came up with the format for this, you name it, and Chris from House of Jordan mentioned this, right? We're not just coming on and giving you card picks, and we're also not just coming on and giving you sports analysis. We're kind of meshing them both, right? At least that's the goal of what we're doing here. And Andrew's play of Derek Carr, which was one no one else in the world gave, right? Literally, no one else. When he did it, I was like, I'm a Raider fan. I wasn't doing that. Here's the magic of it, right? Everybody's doing fantasy sports now. And cards, I believe, have almost become like an extension of fantasy sports, like almost daily fantasy sports, right? It's a way to basically play a fantasy sport with a commodity, right? So if you thought that the Raiders were going to win and you thought that Josh Jacobs was going to have 3 touchdowns, it's possible for you to go the week before, buy a bunch of Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs cards, and they have this win. He has 3 touchdowns. Carr plays a good game, and boom, the next day or that night, you're selling the cards for a profit. It's the same thing as a daily fantasy kind of thing. So I love the pick, and I just had to comment on that because it's It's never really been like that. There's never really been that fantasy and sports card combo. And I think it's a pretty cool phenomenon.
Well, I've said it since the beginning. I think of myself as a scout first. I've literally said that since one of the first episodes with Tyler Hero. I'm not here like trying to gamble on anyone. I want to watch someone. I think that they're in a good system and they're set up to succeed. And I think their stock is low and it should be high. And that's the play. So that's the play here today. So over the weekend, I woke up to a message, someone who sells and subs a lot of cards. And he was like, hey, do you want any Gavin Lux tops? I think they're the updates, PSA 10 for $50, 50 to $55. That to me
probably just the
like,
tops regular, right? The tops. It's 2020 Top Series 1.
Yeah,
update hasn't come out yet this year. Yep.
Yeah, I always get them confused, but that's a $50 card for someone who Cage has already done a whole talk up or write up, whatever you want to call it, on Gavin Lux. And the only reason he was sent down to the minors is because the team thought he was that good that they want to keep him for the future. Yep. I think he's going to have a spot on the team in the postseason, and I think he's going to be one of the future stars on that team. And here you are, you get his update when no one wants it, already graded. You guys, I'm not a big raw guy anymore because I think they're all pick through. You can get a tops update of a huge market player for $50, $60. I think it's a no-brainer to buy a few of those. Now, The second play is the Trae Young rookie Mosaic when it was a part of the Prism release. And why do I think that one's a play too? Because as Mosaic's brand kind of plays out in these next 6 to 12 months, I don't think it's going to be around for a long time, but I think it's going to be around for these next 6 to 12 months, especially with the marketing push that Panini's going through.
Definitely. It'll probably be around for a couple more years, I would think. I think you're right. I mean, it's not going anywhere. People love it. They can't keep it in stock. Yeah, it's great. I think shiny as hell.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a flight to quality. And the Prism Mosaic, when it was a part of the Prism release, is much more scarce than this year's. So you get a Trae Young rookie card with the Prism, I think it's called Mosaic, to be honest, is how it's graded. A PSA 10 for $350, $375. I think that's a good deal on Trae Young for the Mosaic. And I think the pop on that one, I'll look it up after this as Cage goes in and does his pick. But I think the pop on that is significantly lower than the Optic and the Prism.
I like it. I like it. I like the play. I'll tell you why, right? So the Fast Break Mosaic, while they were in Prism, they're just a varied version of of the same card, right? So what's interesting is I'll compare it. This one wasn't numbered, but there was a parallel that it got no love from collectors until very recently. The Hyper, right? So the Hyper parallel, right? Nobody liked that card. The silvers were going crazy. The greens didn't do anything, and the Hypers were like, "Oh wow, why? I don't want the Hyper. Forget about it." The Hypers were selling for like what the base is sold for. They were almost as bad as the red, white, and blue, but there are no Hypers. They're really rare within the Prism, and they're even harder to find in PSA 10. People started
nearly
looking at the pops
impossible.
On these things.
Nearly impossible
on them, and now they're selling close to silver prices for some of the stars. So your play is nice because it's one where, if enough people catch on, it's low enough pop where there are fans of Mosaic. Those cards are right now sold at a discount to silver cards and the other parallels of basically the same card, and they're much more limited. So I mean,
do you know what the pop is?
It's significantly lower. I mean, you're talking about probably less than 100.
165 PSA 10s of Trae Young.
Yeah, I mean that's a low pop. I mean, how many base are there? Thousands. How many silvers are there? There's thousands. So 100 and change. I mean, that's a really low pop for I mean, that's a great card.
I wouldn't be surprised if the market sort of thinks of those Mosaic as a part of that were a part of the Prism release as a pseudo silver. Because I think it's going to shrink the gap between the Trae Young silver and the Mosaic PSA 10.
Listen, eventually you're right? So it's a larger conversation about those star cards and their accessibility for collectors, right? So I believe, and we saw it this year, the Trae card go to like $2,000 for his silver PSA 10. I don't know where it's at now. It's probably still close to that. You know, things have retraced a bit. But I think during the season, that Trae card's a $2,500 silver, right? So that's a tough price point for a collector to come in at. You know, people are going to start looking at lower pop than the silver, greens, maybe not the red, white, and blue, just because it's I think it's, you know, a weird parallel. But hypers and fast breaks, and you're right, the Mosaic, and I think that once people do find those and see just how small the pop is on those, I think you're going to see the prices on those go up because they're just going to disappear. So I like the play. I definitely
So
do.
there's a significant difference. So the card is the 2018 Panini Prism Trae Young Mosaic, card number 93, and there were sales in the PSA 10 for $365, $356. And here's why I think there's a significant difference between the fast break and the Mosaic. People like the Mosaic a lot more. People do not like the fast break. I had a card that was a BGS 10 fast break of Shy, and it just would not sell. And this was when Shy was at his peak. And I asked a few people, like, what do you think? What do you think? They're like, this is a really childish design. We think it's very kid-like with all the bubbles. We don't like it.
The disco, right?
People do not like fast break. And I've told you guys this, Luca Nation. I don't try to change behavior. I try to catch trends. So a trend that people like is they love Mosaic. Well, okay, I'm going to catch the trend. I'm going to find a low pop card of someone that I think is undervalued and buy his PSA 10 for $350. And that's what the Trae Young 2018 Panini Prism Mosaic card number 93 is. And also the baseball play, the $50, $60 Gavin Lux Series 1.
I love the Lux play. That Dodgers team is great. They're going to have a long playoff run. I can't wait to see them play the Padres. They got a 3-game series starting tonight with the Padres and see what happens. But I love Lux. And even if that's not a play for this year, I mean, anybody who watched my live PSA earlier this week or over the weekend, I think, saw that. I graded a bunch of those Lux myself. I got back a bunch of 10. So I'm stockpiling that card myself. That's why we gave it as a pick. It's great. I love the picks. And you know what? As usual, you give guys Gavin Lux, who was the front runner for the National League Rookie of the Year this year, and Trae Young, who, if you watch any basketball, you know who he is. I'm going to go in the other spectrum here, the other end of the spectrum, and I'm going to give our guys a lower end play. So I want you to name
Cronenworth's younger brother, probably.
No. I mean,
he's one penny right now, but he's going to be 94 cents at the end of the week.
No. It's better. It's better than that. It's a couple bucks a card. So but here you go. It's I'll put you on the hot seat, right? So name for me the player who won the American League batting title in 2019.
Trout?
Not Trout.
DJ LeMahieu.
Not DJ LeMahieu, although he is in the running this year. He's always in the running for it, and he won the National League. Batting title last year. No, not Pete Alonso was.
American League. It's probably from the Astros. It's Springer.
It's not Springer.
No, Lou would have he'd be the happiest person in the world.
Yeah, he'd be thrilled. All right, so this guy batted .335 last year. Okay, and he won the American League batting title. So I'm not going to leave you hanging anymore. So name for me some of the best players on the White Sox.
Abreu, Moncada.
Abreu is awesome. Moncada is awesome. Who's this killer rookie who's probably going to win the American League Rookie of the Year? Lou Robert. So I mean,
Robert with the horns.
Yeah, you named a ton of these guys, right? But you haven't named the guy who actually on the White Sox won the American League batting title last year.
James Shields, the pitcher. That's very good. That's a good trade.
That's a good trade. No, so you ever heard of Tim Anderson?
Oh, I have.
See? So Tim Anderson won the batting title last year.
Right? Lanky.
Yeah, he's lanky. He stole bases, and I think last year I think it was 2020. But here's the fun of it, right? So he won the batting title at .335 average. You want to take a guess what his batting average was the year before?
I feel like guys like that they know how to get on base. They're just consistently.
You would think that, right? Like he's a consistent guy. You name it, right? So would you be surprised if I told you in 2018 he batted .240?
Wow. Was that his rookie year?
No. Nope. Came around
Wow.
the next year and batted 335. I think it's over 100 years of baseball since somebody had that big of a
Huge jump.
disparity winning the batting title. So it's a fluke, right? I mean, that's a fluke that guy would do that. So I'm going to put you on the hot seat again. Do you know who's leading the American League in batting average right now with a pretty decent margin with only, less than about a dozen games to go? Yes, Tim Anderson.
I would bet it's him, and he's betting around 350, 380.
I think he's batting like 360 something actually right now, like 362, something like that, right? So he's got a pretty comfortable lead. Obviously, LeMahieu's doing pretty well also, but I believe Tim Anderson's going to win the batting title in back-to-back years on a team that is going to go to the playoffs, on a team that is going to, it's only on the upswing, a team that has some real talent to it, a team that I've recommended other players before. But this guy is kind of lost in the shuffle because of it, right? I mean, it's pretty crazy, right? First player in modern MLB history to win a batting title after qualifying with a batting average under 250 the season before. Insanity. And it wasn't a fluke because he's doing it again. He's actually upped his average again. So the kid, he plays well. There's not many people who have won consecutive batting titles. You're starting to get into rarefied air with that. And because he is not Moncada, he's not Abreu, and he's not, Lewis Robert, he's Tim Anderson, his cards are still really cheap. So I looked today, and the card that I'm going to give you is 2016 Topps Update Tim Anderson Rookie White Sox. It's card US 287. So again, 2016 is his rookie year. You don't have to go back that far for it. But it's somebody who's slightly overlooked, obviously. But I saw one sell today for $4.99. So you can get them. You can get them under $10. I see them right now on eBay for $7.99. And here's the fun on this play. I am recommending raw. And here's why. Nobody graded this guy. There are no PSA 10s available. You can get gold ones pretty cheap. If you look for PSA 10 on eBay right now, you can't even find one to buy. All right? But I would tell you, pick up as many of these as you can. Go on Facebook. Go on Mercari. Go on all of Andrew's places to search for US 287 2016 Topps Update Tim Anderson Rookie. Go ahead and grade them. Hang on to for next year when these guys are beating the Yankees in the playoffs and winning a World Series title, and he's winning his third straight batting title. It's a guy who has flown so far under the radar because Abreu leads the American League in home runs. Lewis Roberts going to be the guy who wins the AL Rookie of the Year most likely. And, the rest of his team is having this great year. Eloy Jimenez, everybody loved last year, right? We didn't even mention him. But this guy he's going to win the batting title 2 years in a row.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead, please ask away.
Baseball's such a fascinating sport. Like, here you just named literally 4 or 5 guys that are – one's leading the American League in home runs. The other guy's leading the American League in batting average. The other guy's going to be Rookie of the Year. How are they not the best team?
They are. They're pretty good. I mean, that's the fun thing about baseball, right? You name their best pitcher. Exactly.
I think what makes baseball so special, like imagine that in basketball. You had a Rookie of the Year, you had an MVP, and the top scorer in the league. That's a championship team. If you have those 3 players on your team in the NBA. But baseball, you're not even guaranteed a postseason berth.
Yeah, well, they'll make the postseason this year, I think. We'll see what ends up happening.
But you're not guaranteed it, is my point.
No, you're 100% right. Well, baseball is interesting. And usually I would say it's a long season. Anything can happen. It's not that long of a season this year. But listen, it is another one of those plays that nobody's telling you to buy. And I have thought about giving this play a bunch of times because, he shouldn't be a secret. He shouldn't be a surprise. The guy was the American League batting champ last year, right? He should not be someone who sneaks up on you guys. He's going to win a second one in a row, and still no one's going to know who he is. And it's also 2016 when this guy was a rookie, he did nothing. And the next couple of years after that, he did not. Batted 240 in 2018, right? So nobody was looking for his cards. Nobody was picking through them, and nobody was sending them to PSA. So you find them on eBay, you might actually be able to send the majority of the ones you buy on eBay raw in to PSA and get good grades on them.
Do you think it has something to do with what you've mentioned a few times, that now the MLB is home runs or strikeouts and no one really cares about batting average?
It's part of it, but he hits home runs. He's a power hitter too. Yeah, he's a power hitter too, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think so he hits for power, he hits for average. I mean, he's not going to be Ronald Acuna. I don't think you have him in 40-40 territory, but he also is a strikeout. In 2018 when he batted crappy, he had 20 home runs and he had 26 steals. So he was a 20-20 guy, right? And in 2019 when he won the batting title, he only played 123 games because I think he was injured for a little while. So you got to extrapolate these numbers out over the whole season. But he had 18 home runs and 17 steals, right? So, he's got, in a shortened season this year, he's got 7 home runs and he's got 5 steals. I mean, you triple that, right? And he's a 20-20 guy again. So, I mean, you probably more than triple that because they've only played about 40 games. But you get the point. He's not just a slap hitter. This isn't Ichiro on the White Sox here. This is Tim Anderson on the White Sox. He does hit for power. He does strike out. It's not your prototypical, guy. And normally, there are guys who win the batting title in years where there just wasn't anybody hitting for average in the league. 335 is not a huge average to win the batting title, right? And that's what he won with last year. I'm telling you, his average is over 360 this year. So he's taking another step forward. He didn't bring the average up, 90 points like he did, one year to the other. But if he did, trust me, you wouldn't be able to buy his cards for $5 because he'd be making a run at a 400 batting average and everybody would be talking about him. And he's the kind of guy who could do that stuff. So $5, $6, $7, $8, under $10, buy a lot of them, you name it. Tim Anderson, US 287. US 287, 2016, Topps update, Tim Anderson, Anderson. And the card is it's a cool looking card. It's a picture of him kind of fielding a ball. He's jumping up in the air with a white jersey on. Shortstop is his position in the card there. Yep.
There you guys have it. A little 2 plays for me. Trae Young, Prism, but the Mosaic release of 2018. It's card number 93. Gavin Lux PSA 10 Series 1 or Tim Anderson. What's the number?
287. US 287. 2016 Topps update.
Love it. And I know you guys have asked me a few questions about who's going to win tomorrow, the Nuggets or the Clippers. I think it could go either way, Cage. I don't know what you think. I think the Nuggets have all the momentum. Clippers have all the talent. Both teams, I've told you since day one, are spastic. And I have the Lakers coming out the West regardless.
Yeah, that's the real answer, right? I mean, if they're Lakers, you're just sitting back laughing at this.
Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.